and welcome to my Autumnal Salon Viable Design Workshop. In this workshop I'm going to show you how to create designs that are on trend for the autumn season that are also able to be created within a salon viable amount of time. I really hope you guys enjoy this workshop, so let's get started. Hi everyone and welcome to my Autumnal Salon Viable Workshop. So in this workshop I'm going to teach you how to create some nails in a suitable time frame to be able to use in the salon. So these are perfect for when your client doesn't book in for nail art but they want something to add a little bit of interest to their nails that is suitable to be able to do in a time frame that isn't going to make you run late. So I have got my tips here. Now I'm using a size 4 tip because this is more like a client's natural nail. So it means that the size that you're working on and practicing on, you are going to have, it's going to be more realistic for you. Okay, so at the moment on trend are your blues and your mustards. So I'm going to be using those colours within this design, and tartan is also a really popular design this time of year. So the first thing I'm going to do, and you can carry it over to Christmas as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is do my first coat of white gel polish. Now obviously your background colour can be whatever you want it to be, but I think this looks really effective on the white. So that is what I'm going to do first of all. Now obviously if you were doing this on a client, you will have done your prep and your base coat and then your first coat of white, and then as soon as this comes out I will be doing the second coat of white, and that will be our base layer in order to do our line work for our tartan. But I'm going to do the tartan slightly differently because everyone does it horizontally and vertically, so we're actually going to go diagonal with our tartan. So I'm just going to do my second coat of white. Now obviously if this was on a client we would be steering well clear of their cuticles, sidewalls, and also capping that free edge. So that's our second coat done, and again I'm going to pop that in the lamp for a full cure. Now the colours I'm going to use a navy blue. So I've got this really pretty navy here, and I'm also going to be using a mustard colour, which I've got there, and I'm also going to be using a red tone. I'm not 100% sure if I want to use this one just yet, but I'll pop it down just in case. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create our baselines, but before we do any of that I'm going to wipe this tip off with some gel residue wipe off solution. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to remove that inhibition layer, because if we try and do line work with our gel polish on top of the inhibition layer of our base gel polish, it's going to bleed out, and we want to stop that from happening as much as we possibly can. So I have removed that inhibition layer, and I am going to use my long striping brush, which as you probably know by now I absolutely love, and I'm going to go in with this mustard yellow tone. So I'm fully loading up my brush and I'm going to go in at a diagonal. So this is slightly different because a lot of people tend to do tartan-esque nails with horizontals and verticals, but I really like it on a diagonal as well, especially if you're working on ring fingers and middle fingers. I think they really complement each other when they're on a diagonal, and it also creates a little bit of interest as well. So I'm just thickening up that line, so I want this line to be slightly thicker. I want a difference in the thickness of my lines. Okay, and that, because this is a normal gel polish, I'm going to pop that in for a just flash 10-second cure. but the normal cure time on this is 30 seconds. So I'm going to do all of my yellow first to begin with. So now I'm going to come along this way, and I'm not going to do the whole nail, so this is almost like an alternative French. You could do the whole nail, it's entirely up to you, but I like it when nail art is different. Okay, so that's now going to go in for a full cure, because I want to add the next layer to it, and I want to make sure that these are nice and fully cured before I go in with the next line, because I don't want to distort the lines that I've done already. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, again with my yellow, I'm going to create a thinner line here, again following this diagonal pattern rather than the horizontal and vertical. Okay, so you can see that line's much thinner. And now I'm going to clean off my brush and I'm going to go into this blue. Now you can use black for this, but I think the blue really does add tone and depth rather than having that solid black line. And again, I want a slightly thicker line here, so this is going to come down quite low onto the nail. And just taking that striping brush through that line until you get the thickness that you want. You don't necessarily need to add any more product unless you need to, but you're just dispersing that product that is already there. And remembering to finish that line off when you come off of the nail. Now I'm just going to wipe this off here, because this mustard really bleeds out your product, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm just wiping off the inhibition layer of that mustard colour so that my blue doesn't bleed out. And again, making sure that I finish that line right to the edge of the nail. And just crisping up any lines, or any edges I should say, that need crisping up. Okay, and that's going to go in the lamp for a full cure. So when that comes out from a full cure, I'm going to do some smaller blue lines, some slightly thinner ones, just to help to complement the design and the overlapping effect that we get with this tartan-esque nail. So that has now fully cured, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. Now we are overlapping on two lines here, so we want to make sure that we do it in part. Okay, so by that I mean don't try and do it in one go, because the difference in thickness between your base and these lines running through is going to create pooling of your gel polish. Okay, so I'm just going to thicken this line up slightly on this side, and then also just down here. going straight off that corner. Okay, and that is going to go in for a full cure. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop a base coat on top of this once this comes out from a cure, just to help to even up that surface area slightly, because now we're going to create some much finer lines and we don't want to have them distorted. So I'm actually going to do this with a little bit of gold, and I'm going to use the Alchemy Artisan painting gel in gold. So I'm going to pop a base coat on here, and that's going to help to fill in all of these nooks and crannies and just try and smooth out that surface area for us to be able to go in with our fine lining of gold. So in with my base coat. And now that's going to go in for a full cure. And then we're going to go into this gold. So while that's curing, I'm just going to run my brush through that gold, making sure I've got a really nice, even, consistent layer on that brush. If there's any bubbles, go back through. Don't do this because you won't get a consistent, even coverage. Okay, you need to run it through. So before I go in and do this, I'm just going to wipe off with my gel residue wipe off solution, and that's going to remove that tacky layer of that base coat. And always make sure that you evaporate that gel residue wipe off solution. So now I'm going to go in here and create some fine lines of gold right next to this blue. Okay, and then I'm also going to do one and overlap it over the blue right through the centre of those two mustard yellows. Okay. And then I'm also going to do one right on the end here. So if there's any areas that aren't quite even, just run your brush back through them. Always make sure you finish that line coming off of the nail. You don't want a rounded edge, you want it to be nice and square. Okay, so that is now going to go in for a full cure, which is 60 seconds. So while that's in the lamp curing, I'm going to do another nail design. And this one is going to be super duper simple. So again, I'm using Letha. Because this colour is bang on trend at the moment. I'm going to magnetise it slightly because it is a magnetic gel polish, so I'm going to use it to my advantage. I'm just going to pop the magnet on each side, just create that little bit of interest. Just going to pop it on this side. You see there, it's created that little bit more interest in that nail. So that's now going to go in for a full cure, which is 30 seconds. And now I'm going to top coat this nail. So I'm going to keep it shiny because we've got that sparkle in our product, and I want to keep that sparkle. You can do it matte, it's entirely up to you. But I just think a shiny top coat is going to make that gold really sing. Obviously, if we were doing this on a client, we would be steering well clear of their cuticles, sidewalls, and also capping that free edge. So I'm just going to pop that in the lamp for a full cure. And now our leafer has come out. Okay, and I'm just going to do some really simple leaf work. Now I have done this in a previous workshop, but I'm going to add berries to this one. So it's entirely up to you whether you go for your black to be able to do your stems, or you can use a brown, and I've decided to use a brown. I did this design on a client the other day and it looked absolutely stunning, so I'm going to go with it. So I've got my brown from the Artisan painting gels, and I'm going to use my triple naught brush. You can use a striping brush to create this, but I find that the triple naught really helps me to get that control. So this is the triple naught from Alchemy. Okay, and I'm going to go into that brown. I'm just going to come along one side of the nail. So I'm going to start at the bottom and create like, not a massive swell, but there's movement. And then I'm going to bring that to the end of the nail. Okay, and now I'm going to create like a whimsical trunk coming off of it, and then as we get to the top, I'm going to bring that out slightly. I'm also going to add one at the bottom and one here in the centre coming off towards the side wall. I'm just going to tidy up that because I want that to be a smooth line. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in the lamp for a half cure. Because this is an Artisan, it does need a 60-second cure, but I'm just going to do a half cure because we are going to add some bits and pieces to it. So this is the first nail design that I have done. So this is our diagonal tartan like nail. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to one side and then wait for this one to come out of the lamp. And I'm also going to be using the orange Artisan painting gel, but again, you can use a normal gel polish. It's entirely up to you. With a normal gel polish, you can use it, but it will mean that you will need to cure it more often because it may well bleed out. So I'm going to add some leaves to this, and I'm just going to add a bit of pressure and then lift off. So I'm using my phantom brush to do this, and it's just going to create that leaf shape. Okay, so I'm going to pop these on, tapering it out, and then bringing up that leaf. I've got a bubble in there, so just get rid of that. We don't want the bubble. I'm going to do it down here. Again, tapering it out. This one I'm not happy with. It hasn't got taper that the others have got. So I'm just going to remove that just with a little bit of a lint pad. And do it again. So again, pushing down, tapering out, pushing down, tapering out. It's much better. So I'm just going to place these leaves randomly on this twig that we've created. Just going to pop one more here. And that's going to go in the lamp for a half cure again. Because then we're also going to add some berries to this. So I'm going to use my dotting tools for this. So I've got my medium 2 dotting tools. So they are 2 different sizes. And I'm going to use my Yule colour. So this red tone here, to be able to create just a few little berries on my tree trunk. And then we're also going to add some detail to the leaves, but I want to add the berries first. So the berries are just going to go on the end, just randomly. Okay, just in 3s. And if you want some randomly dotted, then you can. Okay, so that again is going to go in for a 30-second cure. So for this it is a full cure because this is a normal gel polish. Now what I'm going to use next is my pointy dotting tool. So it's not rounded. If I show you against a rounded one, this is a pointy dotting tool, this one. Okay, now the reason it's pointed is because you can get super duper fine dots with it, which is what we want for this next stage. So I'm going to go in with my black artisan painting gel because I just want to create almost like the root of the berry. Not 100% sure if that's right, but I'll go with it. So that's going to be on this end. So I'm just creating some detail now. And you know, you could leave it at this stage. Clients, I'm sure, would love it. But the devil is in the detail, and it does make a massive difference when you add detail like this. Okay, so that is now going to go in for a quick flash cure, and then I'm going to get my artisan in brown with my Alchemy Ultrafine 000, and I'm just going to add a little bit of detail to my leaves. So I'm just going to load up my brush and create the vein in the leaf going through. So really tapering out on the end, almost to nothing, but it just makes that connection onto that branch. It's going all the way through the centre of each leaf. Not forgetting any of them. Okay, and that is now going to go in for a full cure. So I'm going to pop that in for a full 60-second cure, and then we will go in and top coat it after. So the third and final nail that I'm going to do is going to be a little bit of crystal placement, because as you all know, I absolutely love crystal placement, and there is always a place for it on any set of nails. So I'm going to go in with this navy blue. So again, if we were doing this on a client, we will have done our base coat and our prep, or our prep and our base coat round the other way. And I'm just going to pop that in the lamp for a full cure. And while that's in there, I'm just going to tidy up this palette. Okay. So both nails have now fully cured. So before I do my second coat on my blue, I'm going to do my top coat on my berry design. Absolutely love this. Client had it the other day, fell in love with it. She actually had it on a white background because she's not a fan of mustard. So, like with any of these designs, you can do them on top of any colour. And there you have it, our little autumnal tree with leaves and berries. Super cute. So I'm just going to pop that in the lamp for a full cure. And while that one's curing, I'm going to do the second coat on my crystal placement nail. So again, going in with this navy blue. For my second coat, and then I'm going to pop that in the lamp for a full cure. And while that's curing, I'm going to show you the crystals that I'm going to use. So these crystals are from Crystal Parade, and they are actually my own collection. So this is from the Bang collection. I've got a rogue one that shouldn't be in there. So you have got a really nice large rhombus, and this isn't a full collection because I have used these. So you get this like copper rose gold rhombus, okay, and then you have also got the rose gold pearls. These are all flat backs, and then you have ABs in there, some reds, some oranges, and the idea was that it looked like the bang of a firework. Absolutely love this, love this. And on this navy blue, it's going to look stunning. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to matte top coat this nail, because I think the matte top coat is going to really make the crystals sing, which is what we want. So going in with my matte and then popping this in the lamp. So crystal placement is a really easy way, if your clients obviously like crystals, it's a really easy way of creating quick nail designs. So once you get your pick up and your placement down and you're confident with it, it can be a really quick technique for creating nail art on the op. So I'm using a hard gel or builder in a bottle in clear to be able to fix my crystals. Okay, so I'm just going to pop those there so you guys can see. And now you can see that's really beautiful and matte. Absolutely love it. So now I'm going to use my... I use this brush for crystal placement, so it has always got a little bit of hard gel in there, but it does have a case on it, so it means that I can just leave it in there. I don't ever have to clean it off. So I'm just placing that crystal in the middle, using the end of my katana just to move it about. So this needs to be lined up with the centre. I just need to scooch that over by about a millimetre. Okay, and because it's a flat back, it sits really, really nicely on the nail surface. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in the lamp for a 30-second cure. And if you do want to get your hands on these crystals in this crystal collection, then you can either head over to Crystal Parade and get it over there, or you can actually get it on my website as well, so www.laurenmcbridenailartist.com. And if you do place an order with Crystal Parade for the Bang collection, so this is part of the pop art collection, then make sure you use the code Lauren5 and you'll get a cheeky little discount, because every little helps. Okay, so that has now come out from a cure, and now I'm going to surround So this is like an elaborate cuticle cuff basically. So I'm going to come either side of this and then down to the side. Now obviously this would be near your client's cuticle, so you would need to make super sure that you're steering well clear of those cuticles with your product. You don't want to overload or have any contact whatsoever. So I'm just going to pop those two either side, and then I'm going to add a little bit more product. And I think I'm going to go in with the orange. On either side of that. Okay, and then you have got some itty bitty oranges that you could tuck in there. So I'm just going to move those about until I'm happy, because I want them all to fit in that area. With crystal placement, do not pop it in the lamp until you are super happy with it. Even if it's just tapping it out a couple of millimeters or a millimeter, it makes all the difference. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in the lamp now for a quick 10-second cure. And then I'm just going to come up here. So again, I'm going to go in with my orange tone. Right up the side of that rhombus, making sure that they're level. And I'm going to pop another pearl here, and then another orange, and then a small orange. So again, just using the end of my katana just to make sure that it's nice and level and central. So drawing a line in your mind's eye. Okay, and that is going to go in for a full 30-second cure. And now, you all know I love a caviar bead because I think it finishes off crystal placement, and crystal placement just doesn't, for me, look the same when it hasn't got caviar bead work on it. So I'm going to be using these rose gold caviar beads. If I just show you the gold against them, you can see that, you know, this one's really quite yellow, which won't complement the design, but the rose gold definitely will. So I'm just going to grab that out the lamp, and then I'm going to pop a little bit of my glue into each corner that has been created by the circles being put together. Now I know it's not a corner, but that's what I call it because it's just easier to explain that way. So once I've popped that on, I leave my product on my brush and then pick up my caviar beads and pop them into that product. So try and work methodically so that you don't miss any areas out. Nothing worse than a missing caviar bead. If you don't notice the ones that are there, you notice the ones that aren't. So again, just working up in a methodical manner. And then on the end here, I'm going to place a group or triangle of 3, because that just helps to taper out this point that we've created. Okay, so that is now going to go in for a full cure, which for this product is 60 seconds. So it's going to go in for 60 seconds, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to matte top coat the outside again, because we don't want any of that glue to be showing. So by matte top coating it, you're not only helping to seal in the crystals and the caviar beads that we've put on that nail, but you're also disguising that glue that may have overlapped slightly. Okay, so I'll just wait for that to come out from a full cure, and then we'll go in with our matte top coat. And you know, it's entirely down to you. You can use a shiny top coat, but I really love crystal placement on a matte, because not only is matte bang on trend at the moment, but it also makes your crystals really sing. They really stand out because the eye is drawn to the shine and you haven't got the background conflicting that. So with my matte top coat, I am just going up and butting up against those crystals, but most definitely not over them. If you go over them, your crystals will die. So what makes a crystal shine is the facets and the way the glass on top is cut and how it refracts the light. Now, if we were to go over this with any sort of product, so whether that be acrylic, top coat, anything whatsoever, it's going to smooth out those facets. And that's the last thing that we want to do, because once those facets are smoothed, then the light has got nothing to bounce off of. Okay, so it just creates like a dome. So instead of, you know, having a really beautiful faceted light bouncing area to come off of, you've created a dome and the light is just smooth across it, which is why the crystals die if you put your top coat on top of it. And that's the last thing you want to do, especially when you're paying out money for quality crystals. The higher the quality, the better they will shine, a bit like diamonds. So yeah, so the last thing you want to do is spend all that time doing your crystal placement and having them beautiful and blingy on your clients' nails and then top coating on top of them, because it's just, you know, it's not pretty and your crystals will die and no one will thank you for it. So just make sure that you go around and you butt up against them rather than over them. And there you have it, our crystal placement autumnal designs. Let me pop that on the back of my hand. There you go, you guys can see that better now. So we've got that beauty, you can see how the light's refracting off of that rhombus. It's absolutely beautiful. So you can go as big or as small. I tend to go big or go home with crystal placement because I know that they're going to stay and last. And we've got our rhombus there, and we've got our pearls, and then we've got our orange, almost like fire crystals, and also those caviar beads that are really complementing that rhombus. And that completes our autumnal design set. So we've got our really simple, just line work tartan pattern here. We've got a really cute little tree with the berries on, and the leaves are starting to fall. And then we've also got our crystal placement in that beautiful navy with that orange tone and the rose gold rhombus. And there you have it. So that completes my autumnal salon viable design workshop. I really hope you guys enjoyed this workshop, and if you did, please make sure you click the like button, and if you'd like to see any future workshops, please make sure you click the subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you all soon.